All right, we're approaching year end again, and you know what that means. It's time of the year where you see cringy influencers talk about their year end reviews. So I will do mine. You'll hear the big lessons I learned this year, how I perform against my 2024 objectives, as well as my goals for 2025. So let's dive right in. I left my hedge fund job at the beginning of 2022. I enjoyed the work, but the style wasn't matching at all. Deep in my heart, I knew it was time to move on. Always been passionate about career coaching, and a lot of my friends encouraged me to just go all in to pursue entrepreneurship with all the distribution I have built via my social media, which I don't recommend at all building a business without having a steady income. I rather you do it as a side hustle first and achieve product market fit and then go all in. The early days were really tough. I figured out as I go. I made some money in 2022 and 2023, but I just didn't have the product market fit. I had the cash runway, I just didn't have the time runway because we're human beings, we don't live forever. So I gotta build on my own career. So I decided I need to go get a full-time job, but not in high finance. Going into 2024, that was what I focused on. It was really difficult. I had a lot of productive conversations and interviews. I am very grateful for people who responded to my cold requests despite my profile doesn't fit the typical financial analyst to manager to director, that kind of story. But at the end, I didn't land a single offer. It wasn't all external labor market challenges. I knew I was making a lot of mistakes as a career changer, breaking into a profession where I had zero connection because I spent the last decade so obsessed over breaking into high finance, which I succeeded. So I have a lot to say about the journey of going from sell-side equity research to corporate finance, but I will save that for another video. In short, it is harder than you think. Maybe part of it is I'm just a lot older than most candidates who went that route. By the middle of the year, I had a choice to make. Either I keep looking in a pretty bleak labor market or I go back to focusing on my business. I knew I can't do both of them at the same time. So I decided to go full-time on my business for the second time in my career. But this time, there's real cash flow because I have achieved product market fit. It's really surreal. Look, I'm definitely not making it rain. I don't know what this path leads me down the road while I'm not developing any technical skill for a traditional office job. But I know I'm growing my audience every day and there will be many chasms to cross, but I will figure it out as I go. It's not a path of stability, but it suits me because it is a path of creativity and it suits my personality to create something out of nothing. I love doing that as a consultant and investing has an angle to that as well. Quoting Andy Grove of Intel, only the paranoid will survive. And I'm paranoid every waking hour of the day as an entrepreneur. The business is still very fragile, but I do enjoy the creative and the financial freedom that comes with being a founder. So at least for some of my audience going to 2025, you will no longer ask me, how's the job search going? Because I'm no longer looking for a job. I was pretty grateful to receive a free ticket from Patrick O'Shaughnessy of Invest Like the Best to go to the 2024 Song Conference in April. The real highlight was meeting some of my top supporters on Instagram for the first time in person. It's always awesome to put faces to the names when you just have been DMing them, never met them in person. And I definitely fulfill all of my cravings for New York City food. A few months ago, I went to Australia and New Zealand. It was my first time going into the Southern Hemisphere. It's really interesting. There are a lot more Chinese people than even in the Bay Area. The Chinese food down there is pretty authentic as well. Biggest achievement this year is launching my job board as a paid product. The reason why I went full-time is precisely because I've achieved product market fit for the job board. It has been one of the key revenue streams that's sustaining my personal lifestyle. It's not much, again, but it is the first time in my life I am exchanging a product I created myself for money. And that is an exhilarating feeling. Look, I'm not a hypocrite. Money is really important, but it's not for the goal of buying mansions or cars, but it is to put meals on the table so that I work for myself and I serve you. And over time, I expanded the product into credit, investor relation, and geographically into Canada and UK. I also launched my networking course in April. Had a lot of trouble branding the product as whether it's a networking course or a diligence course. But as of now, the course is under construction because when I launched it, I was still anonymous. The new version will have new sections where you will see me talk through an entire course. So stay tuned. For the newsletter, the free subs has grown really well. It's almost hitting 5,000 subscribers. There's room to improve on getting advertising for my newsletter though. And the paid version doesn't have much growth. I think of it more as a bond. But I don't want to give away that premium content because it's something I've acquired myself very diligently. One of the followers gave me some feedback about I'm not paywalling the right content. For example, some content he believed I should have paywalled, which is more of an insider view of the profession. The problem is it's always a tough balance between growing the free audience and the paid audience for a newsletter. So I need to be more thoughtful going into next year on what content I paywall. And I definitely have some ideas about premium career-related content I will paywall going into 2025 to add more value and hopefully attract more incremental subscribers to the paid tier. And feel free to leave a comment on what you're struggling in your research job search so I can help you. I started going multi-platform a while back. Holistically, I've grown to 55,000 followers across platforms this year. And tracking the subscriber count helps you understand where am I getting the best return on time and effort. And clearly, forecasts don't mean anything. Especially true for non-linear internet-based entities like a social media. Because my guidance was way off in a good way. So I will not be providing guidance for subscriber count in 2025. If I will publicly trade it, my stocks will probably get cut in half after this comment. So here's a variance table for my subscriber counts. The only thing I want to highlight is I talk about how my Instagram growth stalled last year. I gave a interim update around March of this year where I revitalized the growth as a result of reinventing a content layout and a new angle. If you like analogy, doing social media is kind of like running a business where you have to reinvent yourself over time. You can't just sit there and assume you will continue to grow without running into walls. For me, that came really quickly because I always knew my angle is super niche, even within finance, versus a investment banking or private equity angle. Equity research by nature is a much smaller profession. But the fact that I have 37,000 Instagram followers is telling you I've clearly crossed the chasm into a broader finance and maybe even business community. And that is a much bigger addressable audience opportunity. So the point is, it's not just about resilience. You have to use your head. I enjoy doing mode goals. It keeps my mind sharp, especially when I'm not working in the industry anymore. I want to thank one of my audiences who came out with the name because it's an awesome name. It is something I can do that can come out with a acceptable quality within 1 week. And I'll try to do more in the future, but it's still relatively more time consuming to do this than giving career advice via articles and YouTube videos. Even though I no longer work in the profession, I still love learning about businesses, especially when there's no pressure of understanding how their stocks move in the near term, which is increasingly important if you want to succeed as an alpha generator. And plus, maybe I can steal a strategy or two from publicly traded CEOs through my research. And that helps my own business as well. With product market fit came new challenges. This year, I dealt with some bad actors for my business. Because my customer base is college kids and MBA students. That means your clients will quibble over $10 to $15 per month of fees. Toward the middle of the year, I got hit with a series of payment disputes. I was pretty pissed because people get value but try to claw back the price they pay. While they all aspire to be professional investors, which the fundamental principle is price is what you pay, value is what you get. This is also where the power law comes into play again, because you end up spending 95% of your time on the 5% of customers who are the bad actors. But I had to quickly implement disclaimers, be more aggressive in fighting for the disputes. I quickly got over it. Because someone on Twitter who is a business founder gave me pretty harsh feedback. If I'm bothered by some bad actor quibble over $10, I really shouldn't be running a business and forget about doing bigger things. And I agree with him. So I am going to focus on serving the 95% of you who do value what I do, and hopefully in more ways down the road, I can add value to you. And I accept it, there is just a cost of doing business. There are going to be bad actors. It's commerce. I must be okay with it. I heard from this social media lawyer who used to work for big media corporations. Her point is, as I grow, the target on my back gets bigger. A lot more people want a piece of the value I create. That is just human nature. It is something I learned the hard way this year, but it's also something I will keep in mind going forward as a business owner. Last year, I talked about focusing on less things, but I read Alex Hormozi's books this year, and he made the point that everyone should be marketing more aggressively than they think they are. The implication? I have ramped up my posting frequency for those who have noticed. I'm also back to doing meme posts that first propelled Richard Toad onto the scene. And I enjoy it. Because I'm looking up to the big dog like Elon Musk and doing memes on Twitter, and I'm just following his lead. And I'm getting better at navigating the other social media channels as well. For example, on Twitter, I was stalling around 1,200 followers for a long time. Now I got to 5,500 followers. LinkedIn, I feel, will be the big wild card in 2025 for me. I feel I'll already figure it out. The content fits the audience there who wants to learn, so I will double down there. Versus TikTok for me, slow and steady, nothing goes viral, just consistency. And I'm not really good at short form video, something I need to really work on. And a TikTok audience who prefers entertainment than learning, I'm not focusing my time there. The upside of being everywhere, I was chatting with my friend who's also a mentor. He said, dude, I see you on the internet everywhere. That's a good sign. That means I finally cracked the code of having an echo chamber where my brand is resonating with everyone. What's the downside? Well, advertisers always value someone with a dominant platform because they don't care you have a few thousand followers across different platforms. But for now, I'm just focusing on broadening my reach and building my brand without obsessing over the advertising revenue. That said, I am super proud of myself for earning 2 major ad and affiliate partners this year, whose product I respect tremendously. There are many phantom mentors you can pick brains from online nowadays. It's so great. But Naval Ravikant famously said, the tools for learning are abundant. It is the desire to learn that's scarce. I am learning a lot through executing the business, but also from online. One of my followers on Instagram, who's a founder, he said usually a startup takes 4 years to make or break. I thought about it for my own situation. I started as an Instagrammer in April 2020 during COVID, and it's been 4.5 years. I was able to build enough revenue streams to call this my full-time thing now. So the math checks out. And I definitely have heard this 4-year comment from other people as well. So if you ever explore starting something on your own, it is a milestone for you to keep in mind. I had another big eureka moment this year. I came across this Chinese motivational speaker on Instagram. She made this great comment. If you achieve some big success recently, trust me, it's not because you work so hard. It's because you have activated your natural talent. I've clearly created far more value as an online career coach and influencer than I ever did as a professional stock picker. Sadly, it took me a long time to discover my angle. But I do know I have a knack for sharing how to get research jobs while entertaining. That is something where my natural talent can shortcut my way to creating and capturing value. The lesson for you is try a lot of things and take risks when you're younger. You might think you want to be an investor when you're better off being sales, and vice versa. You should consider yourself blessed when your passion and your natural talent can converge. I guarantee you, no matter how unattractive your industry is, you will find spiritual and financial fulfillment. I guarantee it. Next year, I want to focus on 2 things: the job matching and the hedge fund database. So on job matching, spoke with a big bank's director of research. The challenge is not finding candidates. The challenge is finding qualified candidates. The punchline for me is I need to up the search standard. So my value add is to curate quality candidates. So here's my new standard. If you have 1 year or more of sell-side or buy-side equity research experience, you're welcome to submit just your resume to be included in the database. But if you don't, you're now required to submit a stock pitch and a model, and I will personally vet them. So those who are good will be let in. To the semi-promising candidates, I will personally provide feedback to help you become eligible. But you have to meet me halfway. If you're really just completely clueless, I will just tell you you're rejected. You are welcome to keep trying if you were rejected initially. I will impose a delay as to when the next time you can resubmit. Because I'm serving sell-side equity research, I'm not going to be super uptight on the correctness of the stock call in terms of thesis. I'm more focused on, do you know the driver of the business? Does your thesis even make any sense? I give you an example. If your thesis is, I believe the market will rotate to favoring defensive consumer stocks, and that's why the stock I'm pitching will go up, that's not a fundamental thesis. And I cannot help you in that case because you didn't have any variant view or a thesis. On the other hand, I've been getting questioned about a hedge fund list product. Because people ask me, hey, I'm looking for small cap funds or I'm looking for a list of event driven funds. I've been working on it for a long time. I'm not sure I can outsource the diligence piece, so it has been really slow. And those two initiatives will take up enough of my time next year. Some of you asked me whether being anonymous has hurt my business. I knew it hurts my business, but I had to live with that because other things I want to maintain. In the middle of the year, I revealed my identity. Pretty honored to reveal at the same year when Liquidity, the big dog, got exposed. And good thing is I did it on my own term. And I'm seeing positive results immediately. I was honored to go on podcasts with the Lupus CEO Thomas Lee, and I did a career-related chat with Andrew Carr of Fundamental Edge. I still need to do more in real person stuff because I have done what I could to automate and create leverage via my online presence. But I need to do more things that don't scale. So that's a big 2025 initiative, to go on more podcasts, hopefully some in-person events as well. One of the greatest things about being a founder, especially in the social media space, is the opportunity to meet a lot of interesting and smart people, especially given my niche as investor. So I look forward to meeting a lot of cool people, finding mentors for my business, and make me a better investor. Hopefully you can notice I made some heavy investment in video production. Got a new camera, new lens, still have my awesome SM7B mic, got a new light box, new light source. So I'm ready to go. I know for the past 4 years, my content value is there, but it is time to invest in production value to get to the next level. I couldn't believe I didn't even have a 4K camera for all this time. And this is also the reason why I've been holding off on making YouTube video, because I don't want to redo another redo. So in 2025, I will make a big push to produce more video content. I never wanted to be a YouTuber, more of a place just for me to show you how I deliver value with a real face and voice. It also gives me content leverage to chop it up to post on YouTube Shorts, TikTok Shorts, and Instagram Reels, which feeds the brand building. And it's a good way for me to practice public speaking. And I hope you learned something about my creator and founder journey this year. I want to thank you all for supporting Richard Toad. Happy holidays, and I will talk to you in 2025. Now, if you want to break into equity research, go ahead and click on the 2 videos in the upcoming screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in 2025. Peace.